We'll of course be coming back to you for more on this. And viewers, as I was telling you, that there are several lapses that need to be highlighted as well. Lapse number one, there was poor crowd management. Now this is very important. Is the state not accountable is the question that we are asking. There was another lapse here that needs to be highlighted. Netas prioritized photo ops than looking at the security and safety of lakhs of people, lakhs of fans who had gathered in this particular stadium and outside this particular stadium who were trying to gain entry. Why nothing was being done about it? And then lapse number three, lack of medical arrangements. Why were there no proper medical arrangements? Why was there no sense of preparation in case of an emergency kind of a situation? Remember, the capacity of the stadium was about 30 to 35,000. Lakhs of people had in fact turned up for this particular event. Lapse number four, more cops were seen at Vidhan Sauda's event, not at the event where, outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium where this stampede took place. Lapse number five, ambulances stuck in heavy rush. So we all know the condition of Bengaluru, and this kind of crowd is something Bengaluru can never really, deal with because of already, crowded city that Bengaluru is and how traffic is a big problem. So why were these issues not anticipated? Why no proper planning was there to ensure that nothing untoward really happens? Lapse number six, there was no clarity as far as what is the entry point or the exit point. That led to a lot of confusion as well among the people. There was no clarity on tickets as well as passes. People didn't really know anything about how to reach the venue where the RCB team is going to be there, where it is going to be felicitated, because fans had gathered in large numbers to catch a glimpse of their favorite team's players, and they couldn't do so. There wasn't enough clarity on tickets, passes, etc. Then lapse number eight, concerns of cops overlooked, because what we have learned is that some concerns were raised by the cops as well, that perhaps hosting this kind of an event is not the good idea at time like this. Perhaps we are not prepared, but why was it overlooked? So that is the reason why these questions are being asked today. Now, what should have been, viewers, a night of celebration turned into a night of horror. 11 lives lost, not to a natural calamity, not to an accident, but to sheer administrative apathy. No crowd control, no safety measures, no accountability whatsoever. As grieving families demand answers today, the Karnataka government continues to indulge in blame games and half-hearted responses. But times now will not stop. Not until the truth is exposed, not until those responsible are held to account. Bengaluru Police Commissioner was confronted with tough questions that the public is asking today. Why were there no proper crowd control measures? Why wasn't the massive turnout anticipated and planned for in advance? Who is going to take the responsibility for the failure on the ground that we saw happening? But instead of accountability, what followed was silence and extremely vague responses. Listen in.
So with me is Bangalore CP, sir. Who is accountable for these loss of life, sir? So was there a pressure from the Karnataka government to rush this event, sir? So 11 innocent lives being lost, sir. Who's going to take an accountability? Mr. Dayanand. Sir. So was the Bangalore police short-staffed, sir? So lack of preparations, mismanagement from your end? Mr. Dayanand, lack of preparations or mismanagement from your end? 11 innocent lives being lost. Those were the fans only. They had come to catch a glimpse of their cricket heroes. They have lost their life now, sir. Mr. Dayanand. One word from you, sir, please. So you were the in charge of Bangalore Police. Such kind of a chaotic situation transpires. So many innocent lives being lost. Who will take responsibility, sir? Was there pressure from Karnataka government?
Let's now move on. Now, Karnataka State Cricket Association is also in the spotlight after the Stampede. Times Now confronted the Honorary Secretary A. Shankar and senior KSCA member Sudhakar Rao, but even they had no convincing answers for the tragedy. Listen in.
Sir, who will take responsibility for what has happened, sir? So was there a pressure? Was there a pressure, sir? Mr. Officer, was there a pressure from Karnataka government? Who is going to take accountability for these 11 lives lost? Who is going to take responsibility for the 11 lives lost?
Sir,
one single word, one single answer.
KSCA, if you could give us one answer. He's from KSCA. And you are not from KSCA.
Come. Sir, you are from KSCA. Who's going to take responsibility for these 11 lives lost? 11 innocent lives lost. More than 33 injured, sir.
Sir, we can continue walking, but
one word. They expect one word.
Sorry about what has happened to them.
Those innocent lives lost, they expect one word from you, sir.
How did the tragedy
They deserve one word from you.
The police about it.
Who's going to give an explanation? Mr. KSC official. Who's going to give an explanation on this?
If you can give us some clarity on what happened. You wouldn't want to speak on anything.
Was there a pressure from RCB? Was there a pressure from Karnataka state government? BCCI says KSCA never contacted us. They never communicated with us. Here with me is one of the officials from the Karnataka state cricket body.
He will not answer anything.
Mr. KSCA official. One, Times Now is asking you this question. The BCCI says the KSCA body never communicated with us.
In the morning itself, did the RCB officials or did the RCB management...
Was adequate permission been given? Was adequate permission been given? This stadium comes under your responsibility, your authority. So many lives lost. How do you look at it, Mr. KSC official? We have been relentlessly questioning several authorities related to this unfortunate incident, but nobody seems to have an answer to this.
You will have to give us some answer. You will have to tell us how this happened.
Nobody seems to have an answer to this.
Will KSCA inform us? Will we have a response?
So you also agree that state government basically rushed into this event to take credit?
Yeah, you can see they were not proper arrangements. Okay, they are not done proper arrangements. They wanted to show off, that's all.
So was the Karnataka state government trying to take credit, putting the Karnataka State Cricket Association on the backdrop? They were fighting to take credit. Can it be said? And that's why so many lives have been lost.
That's what you have to. They are all politicians, though. They want to get themselves, publicity. That's nothing else. That's it.
And so many innocent lives lost. Do you think it could have been saved, sir, if the government was more responsible?
100% you would have saved. More responsible, made caution, and made good arrangements. That's it.
Now, viewers, what was meant to be a night of celebration turned into a night of horror in Bengaluru. Outside the iconic Chinnaswamy Stadium, where thousands had gathered to celebrate RCB's historic IPL victory, a stampede claimed 11 lives and left 47 injured, many of them crushed in the chaos. But what shocked many ever more, in fact, was what followed. Despite the news of the tragedy unfolding outside, you won't believe the celebrations carried on with ministers inside the stadium. Cheers, music and lights continued in what many are calling a shocking display of insensitivity. Not just that, Karnataka Chief Minister refused to take any responsibility for the tragedy. In fact, he shifted the blame on the crowd. Siddaramaiah claimed that while the stadium could hold 35,000 people, a staggering 2 to 3 lakh had gathered for the celebrations. Not just that, we have in fact more reactions as well coming in. Some voices within the government struck a different note. For example, Home Minister G. Parameshwara, who called the incident unfortunate and pointed out that compensation is not the answer for the loss of lives. Minister Priyank Kharge admitted the lapses and took the responsibility for the incident and promised that they will correct the mistakes. Listen in.
Nobody has expected so much of crowd will come because the capacity of the stadium is only 35,000 people. Only 35,000 seats are there. But 2 to 3 lakh people have come to participate in the celebration.
It is unfortunate, this incident has happened. I feel very sorry for it. 11 innocent lives have been lost. I pray the Almighty to give strength, to the families. Government also is with them. We have given a compensation. Of course, compensation is not a, an answer. But then again, we have to, as government, we have to do that.
Had such crowds not been anticipated, so you said nearly 9 lakh, 8.7 lakh people is what travelled back in the metro. Was this crowd not anticipated at all, sir?
Metro has made an announcement that between 9 and 11, there were about 8.7 lakh people have travelled. So 90% of them would be the same crowd. So that is the magnitude of the crowd. I am trying to say that.
Viewers, we have breaking inputs coming in. Was the Bengaluru Stampede avoidable? Top police sources have told Times Now that the tragedy could have been prevented. Yes, in the aftermath of the chaos, a blame game has now erupted between officials and organizers. Police sources claim they had advised postponing the celebratory event, but the RCB went ahead regardless, allegedly tweeting about the bash without securing proper police permission. At least 11 lives we know, 11 lives are lost today. Serious questions are now being raised about coordination, accountability, and whether this tragedy was a result of sheer negligence. Let's go across to my colleague Neha Hebale joining us on the broadcast for more on this. Neha, these are some shocking details that have emerged. Tell us, what is it that sources and police have told you?
Well, right. This is, of course, something that, we'd indicated earlier as well, that the police was not on board with going ahead with the celebration yesterday. And in fact, that they had sought that there be a little bit of, a delay. In fact, they had requested the team to reportedly hold off the celebration for some time, given that, they were underprepared. And now we're seeing that, top police sources are telling your channel that, we had, of course, urged them that there was no intimation that the team, in fact, mounted political pressure, and that's how this was done. The manager of the RCB was directly responsible for repeatedly putting political pressure and getting this done, even as the police, in fact, said that they were not prepared. This is something that we've also seen in the form of an admission from a senior minister in the cabinet who said that, there was just 2-3 hours to prepare. Understandably so, very unfortunate that this has reportedly gone even beyond the Home Minister's reach now. And in fact, some kind of pressure there has been brought in to have the celebration held yesterday.
In that case, Neha, several questions emerge. One of them being who ignored these clear warnings that were being given by the cops. We all know what kind of a city Bengaluru really is. It's already extremely crowded. And if around 2 to 3 lakh people come together outside a stadium like Chinnaswamy Stadium, how difficult it can really be. So who ignored these warnings that came straight from the cops?
Well, understandably so, of course, we're told right now that there was immense political pressure that was put by, in fact, the teams and the franchisee there to really have this match organized, I beg your pardon, to have these celebrations organized, and which is why, of course, it was gone ahead with. Clearly, even as the police there had warned against this, they had in fact said that they're not adequately prepared. One must also remind our viewers that just the previous night of the match itself, the police, the Bengaluru police too, in fact, was stretched out to its maximum, as you had bandobast and arrangements being carried out till 5 in the morning, sending the ecstatic crowds that were celebrating on the streets of Bengaluru back home. Now, after having pressured the police force to stay out till 5:30 in the morning, to have them come back again for a massive, massive celebratory event like this, obviously a lot of warning signs that were ignored, and now 11 families are having to pay the price.
Right, but these are sensational claims, Neha, that have now emerged. If top sources within the police are to be believed, then they are saying that cops are in a way suggesting that it was RCB that forced the politicians. All the warnings were ignored, and sources have also told Times Now that Home Minister agreed with the assessment that the cops had given, but even that was overruled. The question is, who really was the one who was taking these decisions? Was it the Deputy Chief Minister? Because he was seen felicitating the players inside the stadium while outside people were dying due to the stampede.
Well, of course, Hina, all of this is something that should now come out as a part of the investigation. Unfortunate as it is, unlikely that the names of any political, in fact, associates there are going to be included in this report, given that, the manner or the attitude that we've been seeing so far of all of the elected netas that have been responding on this has just really been, there was no untoward incident at Vidhan Sabha.
Right.
That was the event that's organized by the government.
All right.
However, the RCB organized event, of course, is where the untoward incident took place.
Thank you very much, Neha, for the moment, for joining us with your inputs. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this latest development. With this, we will slip into a very, very short break. More updates on the other side. Don't go anywhere.